Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Ukrainian war or invasion or special military operation will be determined not in the battlefield. I think it will be determined economically, and we'll see which side cracks first. And I'm not talking about Ukraine's economic crackdown or disintegration. No, I'm talking about European Union, not United States. So it's either European Union or Russia. Now, inside Russia, I think there's a lot of activated little cells that will try to destabilize the country, the political establishment, by the fact that the conditions seem to be proper for such a thing. One, the Ukrainians, at least the propaganda says from their side, are advancing and the Russians are on the run. So they're not doing well or good on the front, talking about the Russians. Secondly, the mobilization of the 300 or up to 300 reservists doesn't go well with the public, so that's not a happy time. And economically, I don't know if Russia stands very strong. So there are three factors that would probably influence and determine the West to act. And how will they act? First, by having the US embassy tell people to leave. That's a sign. When they say that you leave immediately, that means they have information that something will occur, activated or not activated, or the situation, the circumstances are of such nature. In this case, we have the fight between economy of the European Union and Russia. I have this article talking about Hungary. And Hungary is a member of the European Union, and whenever the European Union places sanctions on a country, the whole European Union have to be in agreement, has to be unanimous agreement. It can't be any country is not a democratic 51 versus 49. It is 100% or 0. In this case, Hungary said that officially stated they cannot accept any more sanctions on Russia. Talking about the energy sector, of course, that's the main problem here. It's nothing else. I mean, you can sanctions the dildos or the bicycles coming from Russia, but that's not the problem. The problem is energy. So let's see what this article talks about. This article comes from Reuters, September 29th, 2022. Hungary cannot support any new EU energy sanctions against Russia, the government said. Hungary cannot support the European Union's planned 8th round of sanctions against Russia over its invasion of Ukraine if those contain energy sanctions, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's chief of staff said on Thursday. The EU executive proposed on Wednesday fresh sanctions against Russia. Who are these executives? I would like to know. And who do they, counsel with regarding the sanctions, I wonder. All right, so fresh sanctions against Russia, including tighter trade sanctions, more individual blacklisting, and an oil price cap for third countries. So they wanted not only Russia, but the people who would be the third party. It would provide European Union or others with the oil or gas or whatever they get from Russia. The proposed sanctions fall short of hard-hitting measures, including a ban on importing Russian diamonds. Diamonds are forever, they can't go anywhere. Sought by Russia hawks Poland and the 3 Baltic countries. The usual suspects, right? But EU states need unanimity to impose sanctions, and Orban has been a vocal critic, saying on Monday that the EU sanctions have backfired, driving up energy prices and dealing a blow to European countries. Czech Republic has mass demonstrations at this point in Prague and not only, And Slovakia stated that they are almost in economic collapse. Think about nationalizing the energy companies. Communism is coming back. So I'm expecting not only Hungary to stick its neck out regarding this issue, but the other two countries at least. But they're considered countries that are unimportant in the European Union's context. If you're not Germany, France, Italy, not even Spain, then these countries are just, they can't be smacked around. That's what they think. So, and I'm quoting, Hungary has done a lot already to maintain European unity. But if there are energy sanctions in the package, then we cannot and will not support it. Gergely Gulyás told a briefing, and I'm quoting, "We are waiting for a final full list of sanctions and then we can negotiate about it. Hungary cannot support energy sanctions." End quote. Hungary's government is also in talks with the European Commission to secure billions of euros in EU funds blocked over rule of law concerns. You know what? Don't get those. Just mind your own business, create a big, good economy, do business with whomever you can, and don't depend on those guys, because that's a blackmail. Do what I tell you and I'm going to give you a candy, which is money. Money that I don't have, I just borrow from international banking systems, and you're going to be paying for it. So I suggest you are independent. That's what I would do. Don't depend on others as much as you can. So Gulyás said he expected the deal would, let's see, I lost it here, would be signed as Budapest was ready to meet all its commitments made to the Commission. So yes, tell us what we need to do, give us the money, and we will rape our parents and destroy our society and our traditions and all that, because we don't have European values, new values imposed by some Europeans on other Europeans, or some little groups in the European Union against the majority. I think the second option is valid. So Hungary cannot, and obviously cannot, I mean it can, but it's going to hurt its economy and it's going to hurt its people. The role of a government is to make sure that the population is prosperous, has lives a free, prosperous life. Now takes care of their kids, the next generations are secured and all that. It's not about securing one right of this kind of group that is a tiny minority in a country. Should not be infringed, but should not, hold the whole society blackmailed because of that or this or that. I mean, it's when you go to school, at the end of the school, year, you get a final grade. That final grade is based on everything you did. It's not based only on 1 or 2 or 3 failures that you have. So let's say it's from 0 to 10, and you get a 9.8. They say, well, you're not 100%. We will not. You're not going to pass the class. No, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? You can't. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. So here, we're not going to give you money if you don't fix those 3 things. Everything else is good. 99.9% is good, but because of that, we will not give you that. What does that tell you? 100% regimentation. You want to be with such a boss that supposedly you're a member, you're equal with, you are in a tyrannical institution, organization, that's European Union. And I mean, you can't just impose certain things and ignore. It's all or nothing on this issue, but you ignore everything I did for you. What do you mean? It's like, if you're not a perfect human being, well, then you go to prison. Who is? Nobody. But who determines that? Who are those guys who determine that? Well, nobody dragged Hungary into the European Union either. So they just said, we want to come. So they came. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.